Welcome back. We are in Genesis 19. We're talking about the doom of Sodom. This is a crazy one. This is a little bit of a downer. We've been on up. We've been on promises and cool stuff and covenants, and now this is a bit of a downer. But we got to get through it. Let's read it. So, Genesis 19. Now, the two angels came to Sodom in the evening as Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. And he said, "Now behold, my lords, please turn aside into your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go on your way." They said, however, "No, but we shall spend the night in the square." Yet he urged them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered into his house. And he prepared a feast for them and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, surrounded the house, both young and old, all people from every quarter. And they called to Lot and said, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out, so that we may have relations with them." But Lot went out to them at the doorway and shut the door behind him and said, "Please, brothers, do not act wickedly. Now behold, I have two daughters who have not had relations with man. Please let me bring them out to you and do whatever you would like. Only do nothing to these men, inasmuch as they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand aside." Furthermore, they said, "This one came in as an alien, and already he is acting like a judge. Now we will treat you worse than them." So they pressed hard against Lot and came near to break the door. But the men reached out their hand and brought Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so they wearied themselves trying to find the doorway. Then the two men said to Lot, "Whom else have you here? A son-in-law and your sons and your daughters and whomever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we are about to destroy this place, because their outcry has become so great before the Lord that the Lord has sent us to destroy it." Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were to marry his daughters. Dang, bro, these daughters were already engaged. And said, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city." But he appeared to his sons-in-law, to be jesting. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Up." When morning, I just need a reset in there so I know where to cut. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you'll be swept away in the punishment of the city." But he hesitated. So the men seized his hand and the hand of his wife and the hand of his two daughters, for the compassion of the Lord was upon him. So they brought him out and put him outside the city. When they had brought them outside the city, one said, "Escape for your life, and do not look behind you, and do not stay anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." But Lot said, "Oh no, my lords. Now behold, your servant has found great favor in your sight, and you have magnified your loving kindness, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, for the disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Now behold, this town is near enough to flee to, and it is small. Please let me escape there. Is it not small that my life may be saved?" And he said to them, "Behold, I grant you this request also, not to overthrow the town of which you have spoken. Hurry and escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there." Therefore, the name of the town was called Zor. The sun had risen over the earth when Lot came to Zor. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and the inhabitants of the city and what grew on the ground. But his wife from behind them looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Now Abraham arose early in the morning and went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward the valley, and he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land ascended like the smoke of a furnace. Thus it came about, when God destroyed the cities of the valley, then God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot lived. Lot went up to Zoar and stayed in the mountains with his 2 daughters with him, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. They stayed in the cave, he and his daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come in to us after the manner of the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and let us lie with him, that we may preserve our family through our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with their father, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. On the following day, the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and then you go and lie with him, that we may preserve our family through our father. So they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him. And he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father, their firstborn a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. As for the younger, she bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the sons of Ammon to this day. So yeah, like I said, this story is a bit of a downer. It's not a fun one. And just a lot's happening, right? So the last one we read that God is going down. He's going to go down and check the place out. He sends 2 angels to go and scope the joint out. And immediately upon entry, Lot's like, guys, come stay with me. And they're like, no, we're gonna hang out in the town. He's like, you're not. Trust me. So they go in, they're hanging out with him, and it's just like, they get dinner down, and that's about it. Then the guys are trying to get in there and do their thing. And this was, people try to make it out like, not that big of a deal, or this was like what we're seeing, whatever the homosexual movement is now, kind of deal, where this was the whole town, all of the men, young and old, were gonna, right? I mean, that's insane. Then people try to act like Lot was being a creep and being like, just take my daughters instead and do whatever you want with them. And it's like, yeah, Lot, obviously his family's got issues, as we say. But he's trying to, 1, spare them, and 2, protect these angels. If they do whatever they're proposing to do to these angels, and he lets that happen, he doesn't stand in the way and try to talk some sense into them, who knows what wrath the Lord is going to pour out on this place, worse than what he already did. Right? So I can see where he's coming from. I mean, like, no, guys, not the angels. Okay? I know you guys are you're into all this wickedness, not the angels, okay? If you got to do something, take my daughters. Okay? You can't mess with the angels. God will kill us all. And God kills them all anyway. But what's crazy, again, is like this, the depravity that they've come down to is like the whole town is there to take advantage of these guys. And then they're like, this guy is not even one of us. He's acting all high and mighty. Like, we can't do this. When we're done with them, you're getting it even worse. Then the angels are like, okay, all right, enough. So all the dudes that are literally trying to bust into his place to get these angels, one of the angels reaches out and strikes them with blindness, everybody that's at the front door. Then it says, they exhausted themselves trying to still find that front door. So blindness was not going to stop them. Right? If I was trying to do anything and all of a sudden the lights are out, hey guys, I'm going home. Oops. Not these fellas. The sin, the craze was so consuming. One, the whole town turned up. Two, they're trying to break into this place. Blindness was not stopping them. Another interesting little tidbit that I've read this a while ago and I haven't read it in this, like, to pull the things out. Lot didn't even leave on his own volition. Once again, like we were talking about in the last one, with this concept of the rapture, with this concept of like the righteous will not be swept away with the wicked, God sealed up Noah in the ark. God sealed the ark. God told him to build it, brought all the animals to him, and God sealed the ark up. Lot got his stuff together, and that was it. The angels took him, his wife, and his 2 daughters out of there. And much like the flood, where he's like, I guess we got to go. To the sons, they're like, come on, dude, get out of here. Much like we today are like, guys, God's coming back soon, man. We're almost at the 2,000 year anniversary of his beginning of his ministry and his death. We're like, that's got to be significant. Please get ready. A lot of people are like, bro, come on, bro. Nobody knows the day or the hour. It's like, I get it, but he told us things so that we may know the time. We're close. And a lot of people are just like, no, we don't know. We got time. It's like, you don't have time. We got to go. We got to get ready. We got to get out of here. We got to, you know? And yeah, I don't know. So then we get into the aftermath, right? So God destroys the whole place, just and the valley and everything that grew there. I mean, just it evaporates the whole place. The wife is calcified, basically vaporized. She stays back and kind of hangs out in the valley a little bit and just gets that afterlife, like, you know. And then the daughters, I mean, they are messed up, bro. They are messed up. So they, instead of just waiting, I mean, I just don't even know, man. Like I said, the Bible does not spare anybody's morality. So on Lot's account of being righteous, they are saved from the destruction. And then they're like, we ain't getting any younger, so we got to get pregnant. So dad gets tanked, and then, bro, I mean, he doesn't know that this even happens. That's the R word. I don't know if that's going to get flagged on this, so I'm going to spare that. And I don't know who's in the audience, but that's technically, maybe not so technically. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, like I said, this story is a bummer. It's a big bummer of a story. I mean, the wickedness of the people and lots of reluctancy to leave is kind of just like, what are you doing, dude? If you believe it, then get out. And then the wife getting vaporized, and then the daughters, it's just all around. It's just like, bro, one, Lot can't catch a break. And I mean, he caught a break and then just by the skin of his teeth. And then, yeah, just very tragic family, tragic situation with Lot. So anyway, just because something happens in the Bible does not mean that it's condoned, right? This happened. By no means is the Bible going, yeah, this is fine, right? It's not till much later that this is specifically in the law given to Moses or whatever, like written down, don't do this, but they wouldn't have had to basically make him pass out from wine in order to accomplish this task if this was something that was just like, oh yeah, this is fine to do, right? So in context, it's already not condoning this. It happened, though. It did happen. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Read your Bible.